Welcome to the 48th edition of PodUniversal, India's first pod magazine, published by Prime Point Foundation. I am K. Srinivasan, editor of PodUniversal, welcoming you to this show. During 1960, when India was facing acute food crisis, Mr. C. Subramanian, then agricultural minister, initiated the Green Revolution process with the help of various scientists and made India self-sufficient. He is now considered as the father of Indian Green Revolution. Subsequently, Indian government honored him with Bharat Ratna, the highest civilian award, for his contribution to India for food security. In the early 2000s, Mr. C. Subramanian started thinking of second Green Revolution and started his own foundation, National Agro Foundation. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam is also associated closely with this foundation since its beginning. After the death of Mr. C. Subramanian, Dr. Abdul Kalam became the chairman of the governing council till he became the president of India. Presently, many respected organizations, universities, NGOs, and personalities are associated with this foundation. The representatives of the partner organization of India Vision Group visited the foundation and the adopted villages on 1st November 2008 as rural tourism to understand the concept of second Green Revolution. In a freewheeling conversation with me, Mr. S.S. Rajashekar, son of Mr. C. Subramaniam and presently the managing trustee of the foundation, shares the concept of second Green Revolution. Please listen to him now. Sir, what is the National Agro Foundation? How it was started, who started, and what was the purpose for which it got started?
National Agro Foundation is a public charitable trust which was started in the year 2000 by Mr. C. Subramaniam, former Union Food Minister in the early 60s, and subsequently he was holding number of portfolios. So with the result, he was talking about the first Green Revolution, which he was the architect or the father of India's Green Revolution. He said it was from seed to grain. He brought the seed from Mexico, made into a grain. But he said that it has not solved India's problems, and purchasing power of the farmers has to be increased, he felt. That's why he wanted to start the second Green Revolution. That was in the year on his 90th birthday. Unfortunately, he gave us a roadmap, but he passed away in the same year. So with the result, after that, Dr. Kalam, we requested him to become the chairman of the governing council, which he was till he became the president of India.
What is the focus of the second Green Revolution?
The first Green Revolution, according to Mr. Subramaniam, was from seed to grain. That is bringing the seed from Mexico and making it into a grain. Whereas he said the second Green Revolution should be from soil to market, looking into the soil fertility, helping the farmers with the produce, in order that the purchasing power of the farmers should go up.
What are the activities of National Agro Foundation?
Mr. Subramaniam followed three models. One is the BAFE model, Bharati Agro Industries Foundation Pune model. Second one is the cooperative model of Anand, that is the Anand story, which all of us know. The third one is the Pepsi model, which he used to call it as the Pepsi model, which is a corporate model. That is, we should involve all the three in order to bring about a kind of a second Green Revolution. He felt that these three models, he took the essence of it and made it into National Agro Foundation.
In the National Agro Foundation, what are the activities that you do?
National Agro Foundation is very clear that we get into agriculture development, cattle development, social development, culminating in training with partnerships with the help of the government, other NGOs, philanthropists, education institutions, research institutions, etc.
You said it's from soil to market. Let us start from the soil. What are you doing it on the soil?
Dr. Lakshmanan from US, who was the basic consultant for us, who was also in our council, talked about low productivity per acre. He said if you're able to produce more per acre, then the farmer will be able to get a better revenue out of it. The cost of production comes down and there will be enough place for even projects like Singur, if you're able to produce more per acre. So the idea of the foundation is to make sure that we look into the soil fertility, bring in the good seeds, good fertilizers, and make sure that this is increased to a level which is of international standard. For example, take maize. 750 kilograms per acre is the average yield in India, most of the places. International yield is 9 tons. So we have got a far too long way to go. How do you do it? By means of scientific farming. And that is what we are demonstrating at the grassroots level. And all this we do as a demonstration in our R&D behind, and then implement it at the farmers level. We have now more than 1,500 demonstrations going.
You said you are having an R&D center also.
Where is the R&D center and who are the collaborators for the R&D center?
Yeah, interestingly, this is in the beginning of the IT corridor. Mr. Subramanian always used to talk about AT, BT and IT. Agriculture technology first, biotechnology second, and third is information technology. And this is in the beginning of that corridor, and we have a tie-up with Anna University, bringing in the education institution and an NGO and the farmer together. And interestingly, we have tied up, as far as tissue culture is concerned, we have tied up with a corporate who knows about tissue culture, because unless you have somebody to buy it, make it commercial, it is not viable. So we have tried out new crops like pacholi. Their bananas, of course, is an old crop, but then we are trying to make it into G4 variety, which will be utilized for power and all, I'm told. So we are trying to bring about a kind of a tissue culture by doing all the basic thing in our center. Most important is, thanks to TIFAC, Government of India, when Dr. Kalam was the chairman, he gave Mr. Subramanian in the year 2000, the FAG end of 2000, he gave the soil testing equipment, and along with it he gave the food testing equipment. He said we will have to also check on the residual pesticides in the plants, and we must make sure that they are all brought under a certain controllable level. So we have both soil testing and food safety, what is called as food safety. We also bring in Anna University students both for plant tissue culture as well as this food safety, so that the youngsters should know about what the importance of all this is. We have experts in different fields supporting us there. We also have a microbiology lab, which has been set up by Hotbreads Mahadevan, in order to make sure that the cooked food which is being given in various restaurants are all of top quality and under the sink. This is what the R&D center is located in Taramani, along with the Center for Biotechnology campus and Anna University campus.
In the soil testing, do you suggest anything to the farmers?
Yeah, what we do is we take a sample out of from say 1 acre or 2 acres or 3 acres land, and we recommend to them what can be grown there in that, and we make sure that the right kind of nutrients is added. Normally we test only for NPK, but there are 9 other nutrients. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potash is what is tested for. But we have 9 other nutrients in the soil which are not being tested for. Take your example, I am told that coconut, for example, in your own house it may be good, next door it may not be that good. So by just adding zinc to the soil, it gets resolved. But all these things, inputs, we are getting it slowly, we are learning, and we are trying to pass it on to the farmers.
Now we will go to the villages. I think you are having around 60 villages adopted. How the farmers are accepting your suggestions?
Initially there was a big resistance. The first thing which we did was get into functional literacy by educating women and taking them into self-help groups in order to have more confidence level with us. We are the first agency to start men self-help groups. So with the result, when the men self-help groups come, we give them technology, and we take, say, for example, if they own 4 acres, we take half acre, demonstrate to them that there's going to be increase in output, and after they are convinced only, they come back to us. Now we have more than 1,000 odd demonstrations already going on.
How many self-help groups are there?
We have totally between 2 clusters of villages. One is in Thiruvallur district, about 20 villages, 40 villages in Kanjivaram. Both the villages put together, we must be having around 500 now.
How do they make use of your NIF for their advantage in various activities?
The advantage of self-help group is that when they approach banks or financial institutions or microfinance institutions, they are able to guarantee and get a bigger amount which is required. And National Agro Foundation helps them in not only in the area of agriculture, but in all rural development activities, like for example cattle. Then social, if you look at fishery or prawns or lovebirds or setting up a small petty shop or brick making, the whole thing, unless you make rural India prosperous. When you're talking about rural India prosperous, all-round prosperity should come. It is not only in the area of agriculture or in the area of horticulture or in the area of cattle or whatever it is. So we are planning, in fact, we have proposed a number of corporates to come forward and set up small-scale industries in order to help them.
In the past 4 or 5 years, how this has benefited the farmers in terms of the yield for per acre or in the cattle or milking and other activities?
See, there are 2 things. In the area of agriculture, if you look at crops, the return of what he gets, take for example capsicum, is a very specific case. In the city of Chennai, it may be sold at 30 rupees per kilo, whereas he gets only 5 rupees a kilo. Whereas if you look at milk, he gets 300% increase if he gets in the kind of a quantity. 66% return he gets. The main thing is if you calculate at 12 rupees 50 paise is what he gets cost of 1 liter of milk depending on the fat content. Whereas 18 rupees is what they are sold here. So it is almost 66% comes to the farmer. Whereas it's only 15% what he gets on the vegetable. What exactly National Agro Foundation is trying to do is do the direct marketing directly to the end consumer, so he gets a better return. We have so far succeeded in doing it up to another 15-20% more for vegetables. But there's a long way to go. We are in the very infant stage, and we are confident that by growing vegetables and growing crops which are useful to the end user, you see, ultimately maize, for example, is used in chicken feed manufacture. Until we came in, Tamil Nadu was not growing it. And even today, it's not going to the extent what it requires. It is being imported from other states like Madhya Pradesh and Karnataka. But if you look at it, it also comes from Mexico for various chicken feed manufacturers. So I think the NAF is addressing, National Agro Foundation is addressing these issues as to how to improve productivity so that, farmer makes more and also identify the market, which is very important for him. And other than paddy, most of the other things we are trying to help him directly.
Do you think this is a unique model in this country towards second green revolution?
See, this has been thought of as a second green revolution by Mr. Subramanian, but he always used to say, I've given you a kind of a roadmap, but doesn't mean you have to blindly follow it. We'll have to keep changing as it goes. We are hoping this model will be presently this is the only model which is available in that. As we go along, we may make some changes and there may be few more models available. But at the moment, what we think is this is what will ultimately reach the second green revolution.
How are you planning to take it to the entire nation?
The most important thing with National Agro Foundation is we have worked with different partners. We don't do anything in isolation. For example, the government and NABARD related training programs we are doing in our center. And we are confident that, the idea of Mr. Subramanian was that a lead farmer should become a lead village to a lead district to a lead state. And that is how it should be taken in various things. So, for example, we had farmers from Vidarbha committed maximum number of suicide. When they came here, they found our self-help groups. They said there's no self-help groups in their place. It's only self-groups. That's what they said. Now, what we are trying to do is, we are trying to help from other states what all can be practiced, because after all the common thing is soil is common, water is common, seeds are common. It's only a crop variation, what crop. For example, if wheat is grown in North India, whereas it is paddy which is grown in South. So we'll have to identify the crops, and we are very confident that moment this becomes a success model, which we have succeeded to a large extent, we are confident of replicating it, because if we get lead farmers from different places, they'll become lead villages and lead districts and lead states.
I think recently Dr. Kalam also has visited your entire adopted villages. What was his reaction?
He had a look at it. In fact, he was quite happy with the progress what we have made. And the only thing which we could make out was from his the interaction with the various people there, he was convinced that we were on the right path. And what he wrote in the visitor's book itself answers everything. He said, excellent work, keep it up. And we have a long way to go. That doesn't mean that, we have solved India's problems. To solve India's problems, it requires a stupendous job. Various agencies like National Agro Foundation should come together. This is what I'm hoping that it'll happen in the near future.
If any other NGOs or organizations like you in other parts of this country, if they want some guidance, will you be able to offer?
The number of NGOs in and around Kanjivaram district and Tiruvallur district, the CEOs of NGOs have already attended kind of a course with us where we tell them what we are doing, and they are benefited, how they are benefited, and how to help them in marketing. We already brought forward. Our doors are open for any kind of association with any NGO which is credible and which is good.
How to contact them?
We have got a website, nationalagro.org. You can get in touch through the website. You can send us a mail, and there is a full-fledged CEO who is a Brigadier Raghunathan by name. His number is 9440-36400. You may get in touch with him directly, and he will do the needful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Mr. Rajashekar, Managing Trustee of the National Agro Foundation, talking about the second green revolution. Hope you enjoyed this pod show. For more updates, log on to PodUniversal.com. Please send in your comments and suggestions to editor@PodUniversal.com. This is K. Srinivasan, editor of PodUniversal, signing off from the show. Till we meet next, take care and bye.